Hey campers, while the kids are out doing their physical activities, we're back in the workers' lounge doing ours. We're watching wrestling. Let's talk Money in the Bank.
It's time! It's time! It's Vader time!
Alright campers, so if you're wrestling fans, you already know by now that we lost a wrestling legend. One of the greatest big men of all time. Big Van Vader, known amongst normal people as Leon White, passed away due to heart trouble after a battle with pneumonia. He had a heart disease, and he's left us.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed watching him when I was a kid.
Yeah. When I was a kid, I
younger.
didn't like him.
No.
When I got older, I loved him.
My thing I remember was the helmet, the Mastodon helmet, coming out wearing it,
That was cool.
puffing smoke.
That was very cool.
So, some of the moves, he's a big guy doing a moonsault.
Dude, we were both indie wrestlers for a short time period. Obviously, my career didn't go anywhere.
Mine didn't either.
Which is why we now are podcasting to you. But there are two things I did. The moonsault. I'm 6'8". At the time, I was about 275, 280 because of Vader. And I did the clothesline as one of my finishers.
Yeah.
Stan Hansen, JBL, the big guys that made that.
See, I'm 5'11". One of my all-time favorites has been the Dudley Boys.
Right.
So I would do a lot of their. I mean, I did the Bubba Bomb.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of, tried to move in the ring like Bubba was moving.
And Bubba got that Bubba Bomb from Vader with his Vader Bomb, with his power bomb. He would destroy. He broke a man's back doing his bomb. Looking up his titles. Okay. Vader, he was 63, from Colorado. Went to the University of Colorado. He played football. Drafted by the Los Angeles Rams in the third round. He did play in a Super Bowl. It's Pittsburgh Steelers. He ruptured his patella, so he couldn't play football anymore. So what do? You go wrestle.
Yeah, back then, if you couldn't play football, you wrestled.
Basically. And you made good money. Not saying that they don't make good money now, but basically in that era, anyone could live off of their professional wrestling career.
Right.
Whether you worked for AWA, WWF, WCW, Mid-South, you made money. Let's just take a quick look at his rap sheet, because he's too good not to talk about that. He wrestled for New Japan Pro Wrestling before it was a big deal, like it's known today. He wrestled for World Championship Wrestling, the World Wrestling Federation, All Japan Pro Wrestling. He did a little bit with TNA when they first started.
He was kind of
I think everyone did that. Yeah. Anyone went
TNA,
there.
they just brought in a lot of bigger names, kind of like how WCW did there for a while.
For some reason, they thought that was going to work.
Yeah.
When it didn't work for WCW.
Right.
The Vader Salt was voted the best wrestling maneuver in 1993 by the Wrestling Observer readers. In WCW in Japan, he won the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, the WCW World Title 3 times. He's a Triple Crown Heavyweight Champion twice, whatever that means. I think that was a WCW thing. WCW United States Championship once, and won the Battle Bowl Battle Royal main event in 1993. He's in the Wrestling Observer Hall of Fame in 96. What is lacking here, which should have happened last year, was WWE Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
It's a shame. Now they're going to do it this year. They're going to give his money family for his likeness to put him in a game, and Vader does not get to
enjoy
his moment. Much like Macho Man.
Right.
I don't know who he made mad in WWF, why they didn't think he was clearly he was a household name in his heyday.
Oh, yeah. Back when I was watching it in the early 90s,
Yeah.
he was he's one of the guys. Remember when he was in the what TV show
he was
Hulk Hogan on that Ric Flair made an appearance with Vader, and
it was when it was like some beach thing.
It was like
Thunder
a
in
beach
Paradise?
Was it? Yes, Thunder in Paradise.
Yeah.
Vader came in, and Flair came in, and who was the other guy? I cannot.
Beefcake was always on that show. Brutus Beefcake.
It was I cannot think of his name. He was part of, I think.
Was Sid?
No, I think he was part of the Fabulous Freebirds. It was like he was a manager. He always had to paint black paint down his face. You know what I'm talking about.
I do, and it's wrestling fans are going to yell at us on the internet now.
They will. Someone's going to yell anyways.
But he should be in the Hall of Fame, no question. Should have happened last year. Was it last year he inducted Stan Hansen, or the year before? It was the year before, I think. So this year Stan should have inducted him.
Right.
But they didn't do that for whatever reason.
He will be this year, and it's a shame.
It is a shame.
It's a shame that he wasn't sooner, now that he is going in.
There's a lot of cool moments. He came back in 2005. And he had a street fight. Hold on. See, he did a thing with Stone Cold in 2005. He returned. This may have been during your not so steady watching days. Gary is just now steadily watching again, which I don't blame him. But Heath Slater was taking on all of the old stars.
That's right. Yeah, I remember that.
They led up to a Raw 1000 episode, and Vader came out. No, Vader came out to stop Slater. But yeah, that was cool. He wrestled in the UK last year. He took on Will Ospreay. Pretty cool. Pretty cool thing. According to this, Gary, he was on Boy Meets World quite a bit, which I do remember. Never forget seeing him there. He was the Big Bully's dad. Forget the bully's name on that show. I love that show. He was on there a couple times. This is Baywatch is when he came in as Vader. So maybe it was a Baywatch episode with the WCW guys. I know they did that a lot.
Yeah.
So, thought it was Thunder in Paradise. But anyway, it's a shame. They said he had heart disease due to his alcohol abuse and travel and just being a big man all your life. Obviously, he couldn't lose weight because he wrestled up until last year.
I tell you what, being big like that, I think, like I said, I'm not a doctor, so I don't know, but he wasn't fat with fat.
He was
heavy
a thick
with
dude.
Muscle.
And he was that what I call chunky muscle, like almost like a country strong, like
right.
Which I was told the body can't tell the difference between your fat and muscle anyways. Your heart can't. They say the weight is weight.
Weight's weight. Your heart's going to pump just like a car.
Yeah.
I mean, if you had a truck that was nothing in the bed of the pickup,
right?
The motor's going to run the same. It's going to run easier. But then you put 1,000 pounds or whatnot in the back of the truck.
Exactly.
The motor's going to have to run harder. So yeah, weight's weight when you're heavy like that.
His power bomb was brutal. He had the Vader Slam, Vader Hammer, Vader Crush. Basically, he was like the Steiners, named everything after himself, which is fine. But anyway, he will be missed. He real quick, you notice in his titles that I named off, not one WWF title. According to Jim Cornette, who was Vader's manager, Vince was upset that the fans were cheering Vader because he was cool.
Yeah.
And they wanted him to be the bad guy, and so he was supposed to go over Shawn Michaels in SummerSlam. According to Jim Cornette's podcast, which I'm a big fan of, he's supposed to go over there and then lose it towards Mania time, Royal Rumble. But he didn't, because that's back when Shawn Michaels was not nice, and Vince did everything for Shawn. So,
and then if you're a fan of the Japanese wrestling, the match with him and Stan Hansen,
yes,
where he was coming up on the rope and Stan bashes the Mastodon helmet, pops him in the face with it, breaks his nose. And then in the middle of the match, Vader takes his mask off because his eyeball's falling out.
His eyeball was popping out. And he was smart about it. If you've seen the video, he pulls the mask off. He knows he's going to get the fans to react, and they did. And that was ugly.
And of course, Stan couldn't see. he's on him, still hitting him in the head, and he's trying to protect his eye.
Right.
So
that's a man. I don't know if I would have kept going.
Yeah, I don't know. You know what? I don't know who today in the WWE, TNA, whatnot would keep going with his eye hanging out.
You know who I think may do it? And say what you will, John Cena. Because was it 2 years ago? Seth Rollins came up with that knee and broke his nose, and his nose was sideways, and he didn't stop. The ref got his gloves on, tried to stop, and he pushed the ref away. I think Cena might try it.
Yeah.
I don't know how tough Cena is, but there's a video you should look up, kids, if you really want to see the ridiculous streak of Vader, because it looks like he's not even trying. Saturday night's main event. Is that what WCW called their Saturday night show? Anyway, I think it's when Vader was champ, and basically they had to put the champ on every show. And so Vader took on two jobbers all the time. And Joe Thurman. Vader breaks Joe Thurman's back. Type that in on your YouTube. Look that up. He power bombs this dude. Taco's the guy. And dude breaks his back. Vader rolls him over, pins him, and is like pushing on him, talking crap. Because he doesn't know he just broke the dude's back. But it's crazy. Vader was ridiculously strong, and he will be missed.
Yes.
With that being said, there was a pay-per-view this week. A lot of cool things. NXT TakeOver was amazing. Match of that. All the matches are always great on the TakeOver. The tag team match, one of the best matches I ever saw in my life.
I gotta get into more watching NXT.
You know, a lot of people I talk to who like the WWE say they haven't really watched NXT, which is crazy to me.
But what I have watched of it, I'm a big fan of it.
Yeah, the takeovers are great.
And I know Triple H runs the show, and
yes,
the main reason.
I have high hopes. Velveteen Dream versus Ricochet paid tribute to Hulk Hogan versus The Rock at WrestleMania 18. The way they were, the first 30 seconds of that match was the first 30 seconds of the Rock versus Hogan match. Yeah, it's really cool. So I would go watch it. I'd say Velveteen and Ricochet stole the weekend, honestly.
Yeah.
Really good match. Johnny Gargano and Ciampa's match was good, but that was going to be a fight, a street fight, obviously. So there's not too many wrestling moves. Really cool sequences, but I like wrestling moves and things of that nature.
Right,
so
yeah.
Ricochet and Velveteen Dream stole the weekend. But we will cover NXT later on. Money in the Bank. A lot of people were whining about it online. I thought it was a great pay-per-view. Or
I don't ever read anything online.
Network special, whatever you call them now. I thought it was cool. A lot of cool things happened. They surprised me.
There were a couple surprises, a couple matches that surprised me that went decent instead of horrible, like the first match I was in. Ronda Rousey and
her first singles match of her career. Of her televised career. I guess on the European tour she had matches with Mickie James.
Yeah,
they use a smaller ring for those.
You couldn't tell when, I don't know. I just have a big problem with people coming in from other and then getting pushed like crazy. There's people that's been working, years, and Ronda Rousey's not a small name. She's movies,
big name,
beast in the octagon.
She could beat me up,
stuff like that. But to come into WWE,
the apex of wrestling,
second match be a titles match.
Yeah,
I think it's kind of a slap in the face. That's my opinion.
And people would say the same thing if they would have put her in Money in the Bank. I would have put her in Money in the Bank and had her win. And then you have a whole year to build her up, and she announces, I'm going to cash in. And they can announce the next night on Raw, I'm cashing in at WrestleMania to face the champion, just like they did with Roxana. They announced it a year in advance. They announced this one 6 months in advance.
Right.
Give her the build. I think they're going to do Charlotte versus Ronda anyways. So now just give her the build. You could turn Charlotte back to being a heel, where she's saying, you're not a wrestler and all this stuff. And obviously the fans love Ronda. Like you said, she's a big name.
Right.
I like Ronda. I think she's
I don't
she's
mind
be
her.
Good. I think she'll be the Brock Lesnar of women.
Yeah.
When Brock tries, that is.
When he's there. Her ring awareness, if anybody watched the match saw her, I don't think her falling out of the ring was part of the routine, part of the match. I think she took the powerbomb, which was one of the nicest powerbombs I've seen.
It was clean.
It was a nice
She was taking care of her.
Yeah. And I think she had no idea where she was in the ring.
Right.
She came down quick, and it really threw her ring awareness off. She stands up and stumbles backwards and falls to the rope. I don't think that was part of the show.
Very embarrassing. First time I ever hit the ropes, I almost fell out of them because I hit it wrong.
Yeah.
And the sharp pain went down my back, and I thought I was going to die. And
I always remember having marks across my side of my
sucked.
Side.
So I would never really want to hit the ropes.
I remember one time getting knocked back. I thought I was far enough from the ropes. I went to land backwards, and I was close to the second rope.
Did you go through?
Bit my tongue, bit my lip.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That sucks.
It looked like I had my mouth busted open.
Which we can talk more about Ronda here in a minute. Let's start at the beginning. The pre-show, which I was a little upset this was the pre-show. I thought they did too many talking segments in between matches anyways with the whole managers in the back thing. I don't care about them.
See, I didn't get to watch the pre-show because I honestly actually forgot.
Oh my gosh.
What time? I wasn't paying attention to the time.
It was Father's Day, and so the girls were treating me well that day, and we had dinner. We played some games, card games, and so I started late, but I watched it from the beginning.
That's how I did.
Right.
Yeah. So I didn't get to watch the Bludgeon Brothers versus Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson.
Which I love both teams, and I think both teams have been treated horribly. I don't know if they just don't know what to do with them in the PG era, because obviously they're both not PG teams. The Bludgeon Brothers is cool.
And I tell you, I'm a big fan of the tag team division.
Yeah. If they could do a little more with the revival, it'd be great.
When like I said before, I'm a big Dudley's fan. Dudley's left because Vince said creatively, I don't know what to do with you guys. We don't have a decent tag team division. And so, they took a break, and then they come back when, the tag team bumped up a little bit. So,
which I thought this should have been one of, I don't know if it should have been the opener of the night, but I thought you should have moved Lashley and Sami Zayn to the pre-show.
Yeah.
Because no one cares.
And the whole build-up, I've never been a Sami Zayn fan.
Really? The internet's going to hate you now.
I know.
I like Sami. I just don't like Bobby.
That's the thing about opinions.
Right.
So.
Right. I like Sami Zayn.
I don't
like him as a heel, how he makes fun of his own music and stuff. I think that's cool.
I guess, like you said, I've not watched, I've hit and missed here in the last few years.
Right.
Just because I grew up really into when I was doing the wrestling stuff, it was the late 90s during the Attitude Era. I mean, I grew up with it in the 80s.
Right.
And then the
When
Attitude
everything was
Era was awesome. The Invasion Era was awesome. And then, I don't know, it all went... You had the names go out, you know. Triple H isn't in the ring
They
much.
didn't really create too many stars.
No. I mean,
like they had before.
Right. Of course, like growing up in the 80s, we was always fans of the gimmicks.
Sure.
I'm a big fan of the gimmicks. There's no gimmicks.
No, and that's why a lot of people can't get behind certain wrestlers.
Right.
Especially the guys from NXT who have gimmicks. Then they come to gimmickless Raw, and what do? They fall to the wayside.
Right.
But anyways, the Gallows Brothers, the Good Brothers lose this one. Average tag match, I think. Then we move on to the show opener, Daniel Bryan versus Big Cass, which I thought Big Cass was going to win since he lost their first match. And then I thought we'd have a rubber match at Extreme Rules. But I think the reason he lost was because he was fired the very next day. Big Cass was released. So, according to the internet, which you don't know if it's true, but I guess on the European tour he got drunk a lot and did a lot of things that made him look bad. So, anyway, this match was kind of boring to me, but that's because Daniel Bryan is in there, one of the world-class wrestlers, with a guy who's not a world-class wrestler. I liked Big Cass, but he was not a world-class wrestler.
No. I think he fit a lot better with Enzo.
Yeah. He was. He could have been heel Enzo's muscle like Diesel was for Shawn.
You know, that's the whole thing. It's like back in the late 90s during the Attitude Era. Austin, The Rock, Chris Jericho, all them. They knew how to work the mic, and then they knew how to work the ring. Mm-hmm. And I don't think you get too many guys like that anymore that knows how to
it's normally one or the
well.
other. Yeah. Enzo's great on the mic. Not a good wrestler.
Not a good rapper either. I've seen some of his videos.
His rapping is. At one point in time, I thought Macho Man Randy Savage was the worst rapper of all time from the wrestling world.
Right.
Macho Man is now the #1 rapper of all time for the wrestling world.
Yes.
But anyways, I think this match was lackluster, and it's not Daniel Bryan's fault. It definitely not. Those two their styles didn't work. So Then we have a segment which could have been avoided because that's all they've been doing was Kevin Owens going to the New Day, trying to get them to join his destroy my current favorite wrestler, Braun Strowman. We didn't need this. This was an unneeded segment. Another match that, like I said, should have been on the pre-show. I don't really want to talk about it much. Do you? Bobby Lashley, Sami Zayn. Lashley wins.
Lashley I never watched him in TNA.
Did you watch him during his first run with the WWE?
No.
He was good. But they had him as this... He didn't talk much. He was... What do they call him? The Devastator. He was good. His Money in the Bank match he was in at Mania was funny because he looked scared to climb a ladder. He was fine, but yeah, they haven't built him up as this superhero that he was during the ECW relaunch. Not a good match. Once again, I think it's just the styles don't click.
Right, it is.
It's a cruiserweight taking on a muscle builder.
Right. And of course, we know how it's going to end.
Right, and it should have been, honestly, a 10-second match.
And it's like they built... It's like they couldn't come up with any other better situation. So they built this up over a couple of months where Sami Zayn was dogging on his family, his sisters, his dad, this and that. And then they're going to bring him out in pay-per-view and,
If anything, to extend it and to make it interesting, Bobby comes out first and Sammy attacks him. They don't even have a match, leading to Extreme Rules to do the payoff. But they didn't even do that. They just gave us a junk match. That Intercontinental Championship was on the line with Seth Rollins, who is another one of my current favorites. I like Elias. Do you like Elias?
I don't mind him. Like I said, I'm still trying to get back into it. And I know the premises behind Walk with Elias.
Right.
The new WWE Walk with Elias. You know,
It's good stuff.
So
I read online that they want to turn him into a face and have him possibly challenge Lesnar. I don't think it'll work.
I don't think he's in that level.
Anti-hero, I would enjoy.
I think he's right where he needs to be. He just needs to perfect it.
I want him to have that IC title. His matches are great.
Yeah.
When he debuted against Ambrose, beat him. Great match. Great match with Seth. I thought it was a great match. They told a great story.
Yeah, see, Seth Rollins, I wasn't, when he was with the Shield, wasn't a fan.
I didn't think Seth...
When the Shield broke up, I wasn't a fan.
I thought Seth was going to fall to the wayside.
Right.
I saw him in Ring of Honor as Tyler Black, and I knew he was good, but normally those guys get crapped on. So I thought, it's going to be Ambrose as your star, Roman will be your mid-carder forever, and I thought, just because Seth wouldn't be there anymore, I thought he'd be back at Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
Or New Japan.
Triple H took him under his wing, totally flipped him around.
Yeah, he's a great storyteller. He's in the ring and outside of the ring. Great on the mic. He's got awesome intro music. His moveset's great. They're finally letting him do the stomp again. They kind of outlawed that for a while. I thought the match was fun. Which led into a women's Money in the Bank match, the second in history, won by one of my favorite competitors, Alexa Bliss. There's none that I really can't stand in the match, except not a big fan of Natalya. I feel like she should kind of be behind the scenes now coaching the girls.
I don't know. That's what I was thinking.
Shine.
That's what I was thinking when she was coming out. I was like, she just...
I thought maybe she could have had... If you took Natalya out of the match and put Ronda in the match, because they were going with the whole injured thing for a while, which at one point you can look, they forgot which knee was supposed to be injured.
Right.
1 week it was the left, 1 week it was the right. I thought Natalya should have been in the match.
I've had bum knees before, and your left one does get sore because you... So, I don't know.
I understand that, but...
Just don't overthink it.
Ember Moon, I thought, could win. Since she's a newcomer, I really love her finisher, the Eclipse.
Yeah.
I love it. But Charlotte, Becky, Naomi, Lana, Alexa, they're all good. Sasha. The only one who doesn't fit for me is Natalya. I thought Ronda should have been in it. And the different stories you could have taken from each... Like, this one was wide open. You could have taken any storyline in your head, if you love wrestling, and figured out any one of them could win and they could make sense in story. Charlotte, I think, was the least making sense because Charlotte doesn't need a Money in the Bank cash-in to be in the title hunt.
Right.
She can just get back into it. But Naomi, Becky's been out for a while of the title hunt. Lana, the newcomer, who I think's a great heel because she's overconfident. I love it.
Yeah.
Sasha, been out of the title hunt for a while. Alexa, she's a great heel. The Ric Flair of the girls, I feel. The way she sells her heel self. And then Ember Moon, like I said, the rookie. You could have built her up for a year.
I tell you what I like to watch, talking about Charlotte, is on the WWE Network, they had that mixed match. And when her and Bobby Roode.
It's a great team.
And it was a cool team. The glorious part of it to the Flair part of it, it works.
Yeah.
Both robe wearing.
Not that I want some big love story to happen, but I think.
Oh no!
If those two were to be married, it would make sense, right? They could wear robes to the wedding and everything.
Yeah.
But I thought this was wide open. In fact, the men's Money in the Bank was wide open too. But this was wide open. They had some cool spots. Some miscues on the women trying to grab the briefcase and make it look realistic. That's my wife's number one gripe when we watch this together.
I tell you what, I did enjoy watching even on the men's and the women's was they when Alexa Bliss even won it, she got up that ladder always hate. And throughout the matches too, they did it too.
They stopped on the third.
They would
right?
stop and rest. I was like, okay, I understand you're tired, but this is for the Money in the Bank.
Right.
Let's get up that ladder and get that.
Right. They are simulating a live fight for a shot to change their life. But Alexa ended up winning, and I knew when she won, she was going to cash in. I knew that night. She was the one. Like I said at the beginning, you could pick all these guys and go somewhere with them. Alexa's the one who can ruin the moment. Now, I thought she was going to ruin Asuka's moment. I thought Asuka was going to win. I can't stand Asuka. I don't understand why people like Asuka. I don't like her. But I thought she was going to win, and then Alexa was going to come out and ruin her moment. But she ruined someone else's moment, which we can get into. Who did you think was going to win going into that match?
Which match?
The women's Money in the Bank.
I don't know. Like I said, I was rooting for either Alexa Bliss or Charlotte Flair.
Right.
So
Okay.
those are who I was rooting for.
Then we leave that match and we go into another unneeded segment with Baron Corbin being the constable of Raw, whatever that crap is. Another unneeded moment. Now we come into a match I thought was good that everyone online wants to bash. Roman Reigns versus Jinder Mahal. I like both wrestlers. I don't like both characters. Roman needs a different character.
Yeah,
I think they both perform very well.
And that's like with Roman. My whole thing with Roman is his promoing.
Yeah.
I don't think he's good.
He just
Behind the camera when he's talking, I don't think
he comes out of character when he's talking.
That's the thing. It always makes me wonder: are they just bad, or is the character they're portraying is just not what they want to do? Does Roman Reigns? Does he want to be something different? Does he want to do something different?
I don't think he wants to be the superhero. I think he wants to be the villain.
Think so?
I think so. The way he carries himself, the way he talks.
They did that
to
with
fans.
the Usos, you know.
When Usos turned and was that was amazing.
Yeah.
And now they're like the cool bad guys that you could cheer for, and it works.
Right.
That needs to happen with Roman. I like Jinder too. I'm gender fluent when it comes to Jinder Mahal.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to get that hashtagging, by the way.
Gender fluent.
Gender fluent. Hashtag gender fluent.
Hashtag.
Gender with a J, of course. The fans took over. I thought it was disrespectful. I hate when fans chant and try to take over the match.
Right.
I like when fans chant for the match. You could say, boo, you suck. You could say, I hope your mom dies. You could say, I love this guy. But when you start chanting C.A.M.P constantly, which it needs to stop, this is awful, boring,
So
NXT, it's stupid.
CM Punk. Why was they chanting CM Punk?
Well, they're in
was
Chicago.
Yeah.
Every wrestling crowd tries to chant CM Punk now, and I just don't understand. CM Punk's never coming back. He has said it. He's done with wrestling. He hates it now. Which, clearly he won't be in the UFC ever again, so he needs to come back to wrestling.
Yeah.
But I thought the match was good. I knew Roman was going to win. I honestly thought, since it was Chicago, the fans would cheer Jinder, but they booed Jinder too. So,
I saw the segment where Jinder Mahal was walking down the back hallway. Roman Reigns comes out of nowhere and spears him through a piece of drywall.
Yes.
I don't know where Vince or whoever came up with that thought it was going to be convincing, that it was going to be, oh my God, they speared him through the wall.
Yeah. Because they did some cool stuff that was outlandish with Braun and his strength, where he flips over a truck and all that stuff. But it didn't look that bad. Like, obviously, we know Braun's not going to flip over an 18-wheeler. Yeah, or an ambulance. But it was goofy, but also so pro wrestling enough it was okay.
Yeah.
But the drywall incident, not cool.
Like, I don't.
He should fire. I think they should fire most of the writing team. Honestly, Vince is out of touch. That's how I feel. Triple H is in touch because look at NXT. Look how happy the fans are. But whatever. The match.
And that's what I'm saying. I guess, coming from NXT up to Raw or SmackDown, everybody wants to do that. If you wanted to stay in a good story-driven show, I'd stay on NXT.
Yeah, man. Like if I was Velveteen Dream or Lars Sullivan or Adam Cole's group. What do they call themselves?
Who?
Adam Cole.
Oh, yeah,
and the NXT Tag Champs. They are the NWO of NXT.
Yeah, I can't. Oh man, I know.
Undisputed Era.
Yes.
Yeah, I would not want to be them right now.
I'd be happy with NXT. I don't know. I mean, I guess money talks.
Right.
But I would be afraid. I would step back and take a look and be like, all right, well, I mean, how far do I want my career to go? Do I want to go to Raw?
Right.
Or up to the Big Show and then be like, I get used for a year and then get dropped because I can't get fitted in because the writing's not good?
Right. Like kind of how it started with Bobby Roode when they called him up. Look at Ty Dillinger. He got called up. He was hot in NXT. They call him up. Now he's just a simple jobber. This week, Sanity debuted on SmackDown. They looked good. They destroyed the Usos, so I hope they're good. But yeah, when you come from NXT, you just got to hope they actually use you. I think SmackDown will be the better show. Obviously, they are going to make a $1 billion deal they just got with Fox for Fox to pick up SmackDown for the next 5 years, starting I think in October.
Oh yeah.
So it's going to be on free TV, and they paid $1 billion. Cut that. It's going to be on free TV, and they paid $1 billion for 5 years. So I think this is their time to turn SmackDown into a NXT-esque show. Speaking of SmackDown, Carmella defeats Asuka with the return of the chinless wonder James Ellsworth. That was talked about online for weeks. Someone leaked that out. I didn't like the match, but I'm not a fan of Asuka, so.
Yeah, I never got horses. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I mean, I kind of like Carmella's character.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I never watched her when she was James Ellsworth.
Yeah.
Before. So I don't know. But that whole I think she would have been a lot better with I think she'd be a lot better off with Enzo. If they'd have put Enzo and her as a mixed match tag.
They were with each other in NXT.
Was it?
Yeah, when that was when Cass and Enzo were in NXT, they had Carmella. Yeah.
It would have been better. Just suck it out like that.
Was good. Yeah.
Don't split up Enzo. Never split up Enzo and Cass. Brought back the valet.
They don't like that anymore.
Wow, that's too bad.
Yeah, I think so.
Best valet. Who's your top pick as a valet?
Miss Elizabeth.
Yes, I would have to say probably.
Yeah,
but I was gonna go with Trish.
But she's a phenomenal wrestler, though.
Well, she wasn't at first, but she brought out Test and Albert. When she came out with them,
using her for the TNA, or were they using her?
I think they just bring her out for eye candy because she didn't. I don't remember her. I don't remember her being that good of a wrestler at first.
Right.
And then I felt like she kind of really took the reins from the valet in between her and Lita. And then, of course they had women wrestlers before them. I mean, Sunny, she wasn't that good in the ring.
She was not. She was more of a valet. Which we know what she's doing.
Who was
now.
with Mark Marrow?
Sable.
Sable.
Also a better valet than a wrestler.
Yes. So, other than Mae Young and the Fabulous Moolah, You know, there wasn't really any good. I mean, of course, there was China.
There's China. But she was a better wrestler, too.
Yeah. And
once she got the chin fixed.
Yeah. And they really pushed her over the top. I think they pushed her way over the top. But it worked.
Champ.
It works for the time, though.
Sure.
Especially teaming her up with DX.
Yeah.
You know, Triple H. You know, them. But yeah, Trish would be my pick as a valet.
Yeah, so, you know, we'll see this go into Extreme Rules. Probably an Extreme Rules match, unless the storyline has them using tables or chairs on each other soon. I would like to see James Ellsworth go through a table at Extreme Rules, and then we never see him again. Because he's not a good wrestler. I don't know how he got his jobbing out, but he did. So good for him. He's living the dream.
Yeah.
The match of the night for me was AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura in the last man standing match. Don't say it. We'll say it.
I can't say it. I can't say it.
Okay. Gary
Nakamura is sounds like I'm telling you, it sounds like everybody says shit stained Nakamura. When I first heard that, when I actually sat down and watched Rumble.
Right.
And I was
when he won.
What? I was like, what's his name? You know.
I don't know why they changed it. I'm pretty sure watching New Japan they called him Shinsuke, which is how it's spelled. Maybe they thought Americans couldn't say that.
I even called during the match. I even called my daughter in. I was like, "Hey, this guy's name, you know, is what it sounds like." She's like, "No, it's not, Dad." I was like, "Yeah, it is." So I told her. So when they said his name, she had 75% doubt in her mind that I was probably right, or 25% positive that it's not right.
These guys put on a great show. They told a great story in the ring.
I wasn't a big fan of AJ Styles in TNA.
Are you kidding?
Yeah. I don't know.
Did you watch him from the beginning?
I was like, no, I caught him here and there, but I didn't like. I was never when he was in the X division, stuff like that. But I mean, I'm a bigger guy.
Right.
So I liked the bigger guys. I never liked the smaller guy. I never really cared for the cruiserweights. I mean, there was good cruiserweights, but I was never. I don't know. I was never an AJ fan. But coming over here, watching some of his stuff here and there now, he's not too bad.
Not too bad.
I'm gonna get a lot of hate on that.
Oh my lord, we should never talk wrestling again, is what they'll say.
Right. He's not an AJ fan.
I thought he was the greatest. I think he's the greatest right now going in the world. In the world, sure. Cody Rhodes could probably touch him. Cody Rhodes is doing some cool stuff on the indie scene. But, yeah. You just need to watch the good stuff, I guess. I don't know.
Yes.
Him and Jeff Jarrett had some awesome matches when TNA was very young.
Yeah, see, I never watched it with anything with Jeff Jarrett. I'm a Jeff Jarrett fan.
So you caught the end kind of when they turning into Impact Wrestling and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It was good at one point.
Yeah.
But these guys told a cool story. The only thing I think stupid is they've met 4 times now, and Shinsuke has lost all 4 times, or 3 times in WWE now. WrestleMania, or their big matches. WrestleMania, he lost another phenomenal match. The greatest Royal Rumble in India, where I think he should have won. Or, which they told a good story there to lead up to this last man standing. So maybe you have him win in a fluke with a roll-up cheating on SmackDown, then have him lose it back to AJ. But now he's lost his title shots after winning the Royal Rumble. And this dude needs a belt. Shinsuke needs a belt to be taken seriously, I feel now. Because the American fans don't just see everything he's done.
Now, over on SmackDown, they have... What's their equivalent to the IC title?
The United States.
United States. Get them have that one.
Yeah, because I don't know if I could tell you who has the U.S. title right. Jeff Hardy is the current U.S. champion, and I mean, I don't think the U.S. will ever be on the same level as.
I'll tell you what. And I remember seeing Nakamura when he first came out. He wasn't. I liked him, but now he's gotten a little weird.
He's gotten a lot weirder.
So
I like him as a heel.
But if they would bump up and put him in with Jeff Hardy,
Now,
I think that would be a cool match.
If Jeff Hardy goes as hard as he goes. Now they did that's happening on SmackDown this Tuesday. Jeff was donning his 2008 2009 era when he was WWE champ. He was donning his face paint again. He took a kick to the head the week before from Shinsuke, and Jeff said, he's been awakened and now he can see clearly. And it was cool. His face was painted. His eyes were closed. He had the eyes painted on his face. When he opened, he had foggy contacts on. So I like that they didn't turn him into Brother Nero and put him with Matt, the broken Matt Hardy thing, which I know you hate, which was way better, not in WWE.
Well, yeah, I just didn't like, I don't know. Just the promos, man. Promos would kill it for me.
Yeah, well, he's being more goofy than he ever was anywhere else. But I like that he's back to that painted warrior.
I've heard a lot of people like the broken Matt. And then him doing, I never really cared for the Willow.
No, I don't. So stupid. I don't think Vince would ever allow that to happen.
Like I said, I never really watched and got into it, but I've always felt like Willow came about because of the broken Matt.
Yeah, which then turned to Brother Nero, which was cool. But so I think this Jeff Hardy thing. I think Shinsuke should win the U.S. title, and I think he should have a hefty, long run with the U.S. title. They ended that match great. You didn't know when it was going to stop. A lot of false finishes. That leads into the Raw Women's title match, which I still think the AJ and Shinsuke match should have won them last. But anyway, not much to say. I've read a lot of grades on this match, and a lot of people are giving it an A+. I think stupid. It was okay. They told a story, the story they want to tell. Alexa comes in, beats both of them down with the briefcase, can't make up her mind if she wants to cash in or not, and wins. And as you stated earlier, we kind of talked about the fails of the match, where Ronda looked good until she fell out of the ring. And if that was meant to be, then okay, but...
It was meant to be,
if she was trying to sell the power bomb,
she did a good job.
Fine. Yeah.
But I don't think she was selling it. I think it
was a legit
took her for a loop for a moment.
Yeah.
Because when she took her down on the power bomb, it was quick, clean. It looked nice.
It looked good, better than Batista or anyone else that I've seen do an awesome power bomb.
And I tell you, I'm a big fan of the set down power bomb though too. And I guess I'm being kind of maybe biased on that, but I'd like.
You're good. I thought it did.
The set down power bomb. I think it's a cool. It's a cool way of doing it.
Yeah, and I think it's safer for the guys or little girls that you're holding.
Yeah.
Then you can hold them the rest of the way.
I've seen some guys hold on to the other guy too long in a power bomb, and instead of landing on their back, they're landing on their upper shoulders.
Mm-hmm. That's a bad deal.
So it's not any good. When you do the set down power bomb, they're right level with your leg and everything else. So.
Yeah. The story was told well. The next night, Ronda destroys everybody on Raw. So, is it a triple? They haven't announced it to be a triple threat at Extreme Rules. I don't believe. It's Nia versus Nia gets a rematch, which kind of sucks that Nia had a short title run. I like Nia as a wrestler. She's good. Maybe some other time. She needs to go to SmackDown.
I think she's a good wrestler as a good wrestler.
Right.
She gets this. I didn't like some of the promos that she cut that she was smug. I don't think that smug attitude really kind of fits her.
Right.
Her kind of being cocky because she was a women's champion and you can't headbutt in the UFC and stuff like that. I don't.
It's like they wanted her to be heel in this match, but not be heel. She should either be full blown or not.
Yeah.
So, yeah. The main event was the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, which I thought was a better ladder match than the two of the two. Braun Strowman defeats Finn Balor, Kevin Owens, Bobby Roode, The Miz, Samoa Joe, Rusev, and Kofi to win his title shot.
Kofi Kingston, the one that nobody knew who was going to be in.
Yeah, I really thought it was going to be Big E, just because I've read that the rumor is Big E will be getting a singles push soon.
Yeah.
So I like Big E. All the New Day are good, but Kofi makes more sense because
I didn't care for New Day until I saw them in person.
they're fun.
And then I went to a Raw event, and New Day was out there, and they are.
So New Day started as like a weird religious group thing, like a Southern Baptist black church. And then once they stopped doing that,
They become better.
they became goofballs, and it was funny, and it was cool.
And you know, and that's my whole thing. They did that to Devon, and it didn't last very long.
It did remind me of Devon.
I just don't think that mixes with the wrestling. I don't know.
Only if it's like a weird cult leader you're supposed to boo.
You know, C.A.M.P did it there for a while.
I thought that was good.
You know, he did. Yeah, he did it all right. It was more of a cult leader or anything like you said.
Yeah, like
Not
the
so
sinister
much
minister.
a church thing.
Yeah.
I just don't. You know,
The church thing was weird. Cult leaders we know are weird.
this is like it's not supposed to be there.
Right.
You know.
But
Censor. Remember the Censor? Was
The
that
Right to Censor?
The Right to Censor.
yeah.
You know, they had. It was more. It worked for the three that was in there. Stevie and I can't remember the what was her name?
You had the girl. It was
then
Ivory.
And
the
so it was
Godfather.
Stevie Ray, Godfather, Ivory, and
Then
Bull
that
Buchanan.
Bull Buchanan, which wasn't he AWOL in WCW?
I think so.
So the Godfather made sense because everyone wanted the hose, and
Yeah.
not quite a cult though, almost. But this match, I thought once again it could go to any of them except Kofi. I knew the New Day member wouldn't win. Rusev has been way over with the crowd with Rusev Day, which I love Rusev as a big man. Have you seen his stuff? I know you're just coming back. Have you seen his stuff with Cena?
When he first came in,
So good.
I was seeing some of it.
And they kind of took him away from that, and I think he needs to go a little bit back to it. Rusev could win this. Samoa Joe needs this win. I wanted to see him cash in and choke Lesnar out at SummerSlam. I thought that would have been amazing. The Miz, of course, I don't think he needs it. He's the one who doesn't need this. He's going to earn a shot, I think. I think he's going to win the title before Mania. And I think Daniel Bryan will win it from The Miz. Just to complete the full circle story. Bobby Roode could use it, of course. He's new. He's only had that
fine.
U.S. title.
I'll tell you what, I like to see Bobby Roode, and I think they're kind of doing it a little bit. As long as they don't do it over top, was Rick Rude. I think the whole Rick Rude and Bobby Roode.
They're not related.
No. They do look close.
They do look similar. I will give you that.
And I think that's where he picks up the name, and that's why it's spelled different. But if they do that that's what I'm saying. I do kind of like what I've seen with Bobby Roode with the whole Glorious.
He could have used it to build a slow build. You could give him a build throughout, and after Mania, he could cash in. The night after Mania, give him that big cash in. Kevin Owens needs it. He has not been on top for a while, and I like Kevin Owens.
I like Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is one of those guys that I feel is good on the mic.
He's great, yeah.
He's good in the ring. He
And
doesn't
he keeps-
have that muscular build like Vince likes to see.
Right, that kayfabe he keeps up constantly on Twitter and everything. He's great. Finn needs it. Dear God, give that kid a belt.
He was just a small guy in a big.
Yeah. Why isn't he on SmackDown? That's my question. He should be on SmackDown because that's the land of opportunity, I guess is what they say. But it's the land of the wrestling fan. You know, Raw is this big pop culture thing where they try to get casuals. SmackDown is the wrestling show. You know, he'll have great matches with AJ and with Shinsuke and Miz is not a big guy. He's had phenomenal matches with Samoa Joe. I don't know why he's on Raw still. There's no room for him on Raw.
No.
There's no room for him at all. And Braun, Did Braun need the win? Yes and no.
I'm hoping if out of any of those guys that's going to try to take on Lesnar to be an evened out match, Strowman was probably the only guy.
Yeah, Strowman. Did you see
Samoa
their match
Joe,
from
maybe?
last SummerSlam?
No, I
That
didn't.
five man big battle that they did.
No.
Lesnar, Roman, Finn.
Oh yeah.
Samoa Joe.
Where was it the one where Strowman
Just killed everybody.
kneed
and then
him
lost.
on accident and Brock Lesnar
Was
hit
that
him?
SummerSlam or was that another one?
What was that one?
I think it was Battleground, maybe.
I don't know.
But yeah, their singles match was great. But I thought that was the time. I guess now, my fear was people would quit caring about him, but they haven't. The crowd is louder and louder for him. Hulk Hogan went into an interview and said he's the Hulk Hogan of today, Braun Strowman.
Really?
That's what he says.
I don't know about that, but
The dude is funny. The dude is big and muscular. You know he could kill someone. He should be the champ for a very long time.
well, and that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping they push him to take the title and bring it back to Raw every Monday night.
Every
I don't know how. I don't understand the reasoning behind letting someone have the title
Right.
and never doing anything with it.
I read a theory that they're going to have Roman win at SummerSlam, and immediately after Roman wins, Braun is going to cash in and ruin Roman's moment.
I hope that's it.
That would be a great way.
That'd be a good.
But you know what I'll miss though? Alexa already cashed in. What's the rest? SummerSlam's 2 months away. I miss having the tease of, am I going to cash in now or am I going to wait still? Like Carmella did.
I like the idea that she cashed in as quick as she did.
Sure. We've seen that before.
It's
with
so
Kane.
different, yeah.
Yeah.
And nobody's done it for a while, and people in your mind gets in your mind that it's like, okay, they got it. Where are they going to do it down the road? And they all want to do the same show. They've got
Right.
it.
But I also like the tease. I like the, I'm going to do it now. I'm going to do it now. I also like the, I'm going to cash in at WrestleMania idea. But I will miss it because I like that tease. But Braun wins. It was a cool finish, what they did. Kofi tried jumping on Braun's back to stop him, but Braun could not be stopped. So Braun, I think, is your face of the company going forth.
I would like seeing Braun instead of taking it off the clip, grabbing just
Should have just yanked it all down.
Just yanked it.
That would have been awesome. They could have had it set up where like some fake lighting rig fell with it and stopped halfway down. That would have been rad. Yeah, you're right.
Where the lighting rail and the thing would just slid out.
And then he could have kept it on the broken chain too the entire time. That would have been funny. That would have been real funny. We can talk about Raw. Ronda comes out, raises hell, beats down everybody. She's mad. She attacks Kurt. Seth Rollins loses the title in a surprise, which has got a lot of people saying, is Seth going to be the one to take on Lesnar at SummerSlam? Could very well be. Maybe they just wanted to change things up. But with a series of schoolboy roll-ups, not schoolboys necessarily, but Ziggler grabbed the tights and won. You had the B team and against Bray and Matt. I don't know. Raw sucked, really, is what I felt. Match of the night was it was Seth and Ziggler. You have any thoughts on Raw?
I didn't watch it.
There you go.
I do some other. I got a side job. I was kind of working on some projects.
Right.
I never got around to watch it.
SmackDown, on the other hand, was good.
Ronda draws a 30-day suspension for the attack.
They've suspended her, yes. Which means she must have something to do. Who knows? SmackDown was great because it was Rusev Day in full force. I love Rusev. And he won the gauntlet match. So, Raw, I felt like didn't really pick up any stories. SmackDown did. You have Jeff Hardy with his face paint, like we said earlier, called out Nakamura. Sanity debuted and destroyed the Usos. Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan was kind of screwed out of it. His match with he was attacked by the Bludgeon Brothers, I believe. Don't know what's going on there. Why are they keeping Bryan away from the title?
Small guy. You know, that's...
But he beat Batista and Orton at WrestleMania, whatever. Was it 30?
That's how I kind of feel with when Finn Balor had the title. I think Vince wants these big guys to have these titles. Which
I think if Finn wouldn't have got beat, he would have had that way longer, of course, on one night. But anyway, I don't know. Rusev won. I honestly thought Miz or Bryan was going to win, but did not. So it was a confusing main event, but I like the outcome. I love Rusev.
I'll have to watch more of his stuff.
You do. Is that all for wrestling?
I think so.
I think that's all for wrestling. We will miss Vader. We liked Money in the Bank. And Raw and SmackDown just weren't really... SmackDown's worth watching, Raw was not.
And I'll have to get back into watching it more often.
Tell us your favorite Vader moments in the comment section. Let us know what you think. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Get updates of every place the two of us will be together and solo. So if you enjoyed this wrestling, let us know. We'll talk about it more. If you want us to get back to the old format, don't worry, we will. I know
we'll
wrestling.
Do a couple different things, you know.
Wrestling is a niche market, but we like it, and it's our podcast, and we wanted to talk about it. So if you didn't like it, then I'm sorry. Watch last week's again, or listen. I guess you can't watch a podcast.
I got a picture up.
You can watch the picture on YouTube.
All right.
So anyways, I think rec time's about over. The kids are probably drowning down at the pool, so we probably need to get there. So that's all from me. We'll see you campers later.
See ya. This is Gary. Hey, check us out subscribe to us on YouTube at Camp Podcast. And you can check us out on SoundCloud at Camp Podcast.
And while you're doing that, go over to Facebook, Camp Podcast. Check out what we do on the Facebooks. And while you're there, tell your grandma to follow us on Twitter at Camp Podcast 1 for all exclusive news and deals that we send out. Thanks.
And if you like designer toys, you can check me out here with my designer toy company, the Toy Brewery, at different cons around Indiana, Illinois, Kentucky, Ohio. The next con I'm going to is going to be FWACCon, July 7th and 8th at Lawrenceville High School, 2200 James Street, Lawrenceville, Illinois, 62439. Come and see what I've got. If you guys come, you guys will have a chance to save $5 on your entire purchase by doing two simple things. Come to the con and find out what it is.